like to eat?
It's time for the second course, hour number 2 of The Modern Eater.
What are you hungry for?
Here's to a meal we're all here for.
Delicious and tasty.
Now we're getting to the good stuff.
With your hosts, Greg Hollenbeck, Jay Parker, and Brian Freeman.
Yes. What do you say? Yes, indeedy, Mr. Tweety?
Yes, indeedy, Mr. Tweety. It is.
The second hour of the Modern Eater Show, live from Studio Kitchen, Colorado. Thanks for joining us. It means so much to us every Saturday night. Here we are, 6 to 8 p.m. It's a cool thing, man. iHeartRadio affiliate, 630 KHOW, live. Just go to themoderneater.com. You'll see a link. You can watch us live on YouTube, live on Facebook, live on Periscope, live on Twitter. We'll catch it all. We'll do it all.
I'll tell you what's a cool thing is these three guys. This is three of our sponsors.
Three of my
standing
loves.
across from me that I love. And one is we have a new addition because, Zach's little daughter, she's not that old.
Parker.
But
she makes the name Parker actually
holy
good
smokes.
Again. Jay Parker, what do you think? You got a innocent, adorable young child.
She gave me the pound.
Did she?
Over here. Well,
let's see it. Let me see it. Put your fist up there. See if she even read. It did happen.
Yeah, I was there.
All right, there he is. Zach Johnson, the Spice Guy.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate
Quite the
it.
moniker, man. The Spice Guy.
Yeah, everybody needs something. It's like a superhero
But
thing.
it seems like a big responsibility.
It's kind of broad, yeah.
Is it?
Covers all kind of bases.
It does.
Yeah.
But spicy nonetheless.
El hombre de especial.
What's your best spice pun?
Oh, man. My email moniker is Time Traveler.
Yes. Yeah. I like TY.
TY, baby.
Yeah, TY. Andrew Moore?
Yeah, hey.
Guess what?
What?
Intrepid Sojourner Beer Project, now a new project.
Yes, now next Stop Brew Co. as of early October.
We got you for a half an hour. I always called Andrew Moore the most interesting man in the world. Truly, you sit down and have a conversation with him, you're like, I'm intellectually inept. I can't even talk to him. I mean, true.
Well, what makes you intellectually inept is do you notice every one of his beers tonight? It has a different, what does it have? Is this a state? Is this a city? Is this a country? Greg, what is this?
Istanbul, on that one?
Not Constantinople.
So here's the deal. When you take a classically trained and I can't even believe that this
archaeologist.
I can't even believe it's his title. Classically trained archaeologist.
No, wait. I think he's
brewer.
a PhD. That's a little.
No, unfortunately, no.
I always go there with you, right? I mean, because you're the doctor.
master's degree.
You're just a master.
But you can call me Master Andrew if you want.
Master Andrew here.
Yeah.
And then there he is, the sharpest guy on the table.
Sharpest guy on the table.
Which is a good pun. Elon Wenzel here with us. I don't know what you're going to contribute, but you're my favorite local company.
Good to be here. Thank you.
And Elon, we're going to talk some beer and spices and those types of things. You don't drink.
Not a lot.
I don't know what but you cut.
I cut.
You're a cutter.
I'm a cutter.
Yes. Do you remember what movie that's from, kids? When we were kids?
What? Jay knows.
The Cutters. Come on, the Cutters and the Locals.
You know.
Anyways, but I will tell you, I love.
You dig it.
Yeah.
Element Knife Company. What's the special? How are you selling knives right now?
So we just did a holiday sale for Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday, and Black Friday. We're going to have another one coming down the pike here shortly for the next round of holidays.
I promise you, someday he'll bring knives in here, and we'll open it up to you, and he'll come in and you can buy some.
I'm actually working on something for you guys. It's a secret until it's ready.
It's always a secret. Just like,
but I love his knives, and that's no secret that those darn knives.
Look at
I've cut myself more with your knives because I like to play around and jump around, and I'm no trained guy.
Push the limits in the
and I'm push the limits.
There should be a beautiful knife display.
It's coming.
Right there by Chef Chito. And then this spice cabinet that's owned by one person.
Right there.
That's the Spice Guy. Is that the way you want that to look?
It looks pretty good.
It looks pretty good.
It looks pretty good.
He's like, it looks pretty good, yeah. First of the year, Zach's coming to my house, and he's going to dig through my spice cabinet. And we're going to do something. New Year, new spices, right?
New Year, new spices. It's a brand
true,
new hashtag, baby.
Man, it's true. Hey, Andrew Moore, what spices, how do they play into brewing?
I mean, we use spices in almost all of our beers. All four of our new canned products have various spices in them that are kind of inspired by the places that those beer styles or those travels or whatever are from. So we've got our Kolsch's. We use fresh lemongrass and fresh ginger. The Amsterdam is a Hefeweizen with chamomile, coriander, and orange peel. We still do a fresh basil IPA. and then our Turkish coffee stout with Turkish coffee, cardamom, and orange peel. So that's been kind of our signature brand of beer making.
When are you going to put a little hemp in that Amsterdam? That's the question there.
Yeah.
I've got one for you. I've got one for you. Yeah. New idea, and the first one from me is usually free. Chernobyl.
Oh, yeah?
And we'll use Reaper powder in it.
Wait. Not a bad
First
idea.
one is free.
Andrew, come on. You're a smart
that's
guy.
a pretty good idea. I like it.
Would you do it?
Sure. Yeah.
Well, here's the deal. So you with Next Stop, you're doing like you're locked and loaded, tried and truth right now. Right?
I mean, yeah, we're going full tilt.
My Turkish coffee stout is now called what?
Istanbul, right? So yeah, again, it's with the name change, it's the same sort of beers that everybody enjoys. They've taken on the names of the places that have inspired them. So either through interesting culinary regions like Southeast Asia, Bangkok, or places that I was fortunate enough to travel to, like Istanbul, when I was working as an archaeologist. So to really try to kind of capture those international flavors.
Well, so cuisine is a big influence on you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so as you traveled with your travels throughout the world, you would find indigenous spices that would create these delicious beer recipes that you brought back for us here. And while I have the spice guy, what's interesting regions to you to where you're sourcing some spices from that you're like, hey, you got to take a look at this?
So a couple guys from the team and myself are heading down to Oaxaca, so southern Mexico. We lease a farm down there, so we'll be going down there at the beginning of January. Sort of just check the things out, make sure all of our stuff is planted in the ground and ready for harvest in around April. So they do 2 harvests a year down there since it's so easy to grow all year round. And so we'll be there January, April, and then we'll go back again September, November.
Zach, are you just doing spices down there? Or I'm sorry, peppers. Because that's Oaxaca's very, very well known for their peppers.
Yeah, so we're doing peppers from 2 locations, both in Mexico. So we have one farm we're leasing on the Baja coast, just Todos Santos. It's a secret. Don't anybody go there. It's a horrible place.
Horrible place.
It's like Denver.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Denver. And then same with Oaxaca. So we do 2 farms, and they both grow different chilies, so different styles. We'll do a lot more of the pasillas from Oaxaca. And they have a very famous pasilla de Oaxaca. And we'll also buy some salt while we're there. Cheeto, who's cooking tonight here, he loves to use the worm salt. So these worms live in the chili fields, eat the chilies, die. They harvest the worms while they're still alive, and they give the salt an amazing flavor.
Is that a true story?
It's a real thing, yeah.
Oh my!
They're using it as cilantro.
All right, follow my thought process on this. Hottest spice in culinary.
Hottest spice in culinary?
Yeah, not hot, but hottest as in like biggest right now.
Well, Filipino food is kind of blowing up, so I'm not entirely sure what they use, but I know it's getting popular. Yeah,
Zach, you might know.
Bananas. Yeah, no.
That's not really a spice, right? Banana spice?
Well, you'd be surprised what we can do, Greg.
Really?
If you ever came by our shop, you might have a couple ideas about what's going on over there.
Interesting. All right.
We're going to have to I see that as an invitation.
I told him
let's do field trip. Let's do field trip next week, man.
Hey, you're harder to nail down than I am.
But, hey, if you put me down on this man's list, next week's not a good week for you, though, right?
No, it is. I said, for you, I'm available anytime.
Yeah. Okay. Then we're doing it. No.
Totally
He's serious.
lying.
We've been talking all week long.
For free,
we're going over
whenever.
Yeah. Andrew Moore, what's the most readily used spice in brewing?
Oh, man. Probably either coriander or orange peel.
Yeah, I was going to say citrus peels, too.
Yeah. Coriander shows up in a couple different styles of beer traditionally, like wits and gozas. And orange peel shows up all kinds of IPAs and saisons.
The coriander, that to me is dangerous because there's a lot of people out there that cilantro tastes like soap.
Yeah.
And if you're going down that coriander road, does that turn your beer off to a bunch of
not
people?
everybody's a super taster, Brian.
But I don't.
Where it tastes like soap.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that even the people who taste soap with cilantro have the same, a similar reaction to coriander.
The spice guy's shaking his head saying no.
The aversion is there for some people, but I think most people's palates probably aren't that refined. Greg's right.
Guys, what I would like to do is if we can, take a break and come back and build a beer.
Build a beer.
Can we build a beer together?
Sure.
Do you mind?
I mean, we've already got Chernobyl.
Can we put a heartbeat in it?
Andrew, do you cook at home?
I do, yeah.
Do you have knives?
Not good ones.
Not good ones?
No.
What's it take for you to buy a good knife?
A Christmas present from you?
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a good idea, right?
You said you loved
not
us.
a bad
Yeah.
idea. And I do love Andrew. So
I gave
know
Elon my
I-
card already. So
That might be in
yeah.
your stocking. But truly, what's it take for somebody to actually pull the trigger on a good knife?
We've been doing this all weekend, or 2 weekends. Elon and I have been working a holiday market together, and we're scratching our heads. Everybody that's watching on Twitter or Facebook, text in and tell us what would it take to put you over the edge.
Yeah, to buy a good knife. Do people think that they can just take whatever crappy knife that they have and sharpen it and it'll be a great knife?
I think so, and that's one of my biggest battles is when you look on Amazon or wherever, you can see a knife that looks great in a picture, and it looks similar to what I have. But when you feel it and see it in person...
And it's all the knives in my
trash.
kitchen.
Yeah.
And you will actually go to people and say, what are your knives needs?
Yep, I do sales calls, sharpening, knife skills, classes, etc.
Elon, I need to sharpen some knives.
Let's do it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Elon Wenzel, Element Knife Company, elementknife.com. Perfect. Spices are good. Well, beer too. If you had knives, beer, and spices, you'd probably have a pretty good Christmas, right? I mean, all together. Those are the good things. Let's take a break. What do you think? Little Rich is chomping at the bit. He's sitting over there with Chef Chito Ariola and his Nuggets hat. Go Nuggets. Why not? The Broncos are terrible, so we'll go with the Nuggets and the Avalanche. Although we can't watch them on TV, which is terrible. But Chito's going to give you the hookup.
Why can't you watch them?
You haven't heard?
If you have DirecTV, you can watch them.
Greg doesn't have cable even.
Yeah, cable you can.
If I don't have a car, you think I got cable, man? Come on. Give me a break. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come right back. We're going to continue with these gentlemen right here. Brian, you better stop it, Mr. $70,000 car.
Hey, man, that's 70,000 hours in a work week.
I bought it used, baby.
I like it. Having fun, obviously. Studio Kitchen, Colorado, off to Little Rich in the Little Rich corner.
Thanks, guys. And quit spending so much money on cars, dang it. Hey, look who has returned. The prodigal son, Cheeto.
Prodigal son.
Back to the kitchen, man.
Yes.
Welcome back. What's been happening since you left here?
Happy to be back here. It's I left home for a little bit there for a few months.
Yeah?
I've been super busy at Pepsi Center there, so if you guys want to stop by and say hi, that's where you'll find me every single day.
I got to go catch a Nuggets game. I got to catch an Avs game. Yes. And if I'm there, what should I try?
Well, if you are in the main concourse,
okay,
we have a few concession stands that we are cooking from scratch. The cheese sauce from scratch.
Wow!
So it's not out of a bag. It's not the regular yellow cheese sauce on the nachos. And then you can find some Roculeta tortilla in every stand on there.
Oh!
So, yes.
That would be awesome. I got to swing by soon and check it out.
Yeah.
They got one of the best. They bagged one of the best chefs in the whole region. He's probably got the biggest taqueria in the state.
So, yeah.
Welcome back,
busy.
brother.
Thank you.
Hey, we're going to be right back.
Listen up. Do you want to save 10 to 20% on your natural gas bill? Of course you do. Saving money is making money. Your savings is just a phone call away. Call Brian Rizzuto now, 720-245-5771. 720-245-5771. It's Encore Energy.
How is it that apps can help you with everything? Your steps, your sleeping patterns, the traffic. But you pay for car insurance that's based on, well, who knows what? The way everyone else drives? The insurance company's whim? Well, that's what Nobler Insurance is here to fix. Car insurance with personalized monthly rates and rewards based on how...
No, we're fine. Everything's fine.
Mysterious rates or monthly...
Yeah, we're coming back. We have a live read in a minute.
Our app can measure things like how hard you brake.
I just went to break. He didn't say I heard radio.
I'm just trying to figure that. There's a commercial in the time of day and even road choice. Do you head out?
Because you guys told me to move that last one, to blow out the last break, so I just put it in the first.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Sorry, dude. I didn't know where to put it. Okay.
Drivers can save a lot. Okay. Nobler is simply smart insurance for smart drivers.
Okay.
So get your quote at Nobler.com. That's NOBLR.com.
Individual savings may vary.
30 seconds till live read.
The policy.
Rocker Spirits. It's a distillery. It's a place to hang.
It's about quality. It's about taste. It's about passion. Infused with American spirit. Rocker whiskey, Rocker rum, Rocker vodka. Get ready for an original look, feel, and experience. Old Town Littleton. And if you get hungry while you're sipping on some drinks,
Kentucky's till I read.
Truck Line in Town. Open Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Rockerspirits.com. Rockerspirits.com.
All right, back to the show in just a second, everyone. But before we do that, we're going to talk
Is it my favorite bread?
Yeah, of course it's your favorite bread. It's everybody's favorite bread with gluten, because there is another bakery that doesn't do gluten. This one does gluten, and they do it very well. I'm talking about Aspen Baking Company, aspenbaking.com. Whether you're into hoagies, focaccias, ciabattas, baguettes, croissants, bear claws, the list goes on and on.
What's your favorite?
Focaccia.
Mine's
focaccia
sourdough.
bread.
Andrew, what's yours?
Sourdough.
Yep.
Sourdough.
Yeah,
I'm a focaccia
They
guy.
say, the girls there say, feed the bitch, man. They feed that sourdough, and it's delicious.
Well, it is delicious, and AspenBaking.com is where you go to get that deliciousness, but you're going to get it, and you're going to get it with no preservatives. You're going to get it with no artificial coloring and no chemicals in any of their bread. So,
can you believe somebody out there would say, I love artificial flavors, I love artificial colorings, I love anything artificial and processed?
Well, listen, I don't think that people would say that.
I want Wonder Bread.
Yeah, no, you don't.
No.
You want AspenBaking.com. So one more time, and back to the show with Andrew Moore. From Next Stop Brew Co. Next Stop Brew Co. I'll get it, Andrew.
You had to look at the board for that?
No. I didn't know which direction
He rebranded, so it would be easier.
Hey, man, listen, leave me alone, all right? It's AspenBaking.com.
Yo, what's up? This is Justin Brunson, Ultra Meat and Cheese in Denver Central Market. I'm a meat guy. And you're listening to the Modern Eater Show on iHeartRadio.
Okay, cool. The Modern Eater Show is back. Greg Hollenbach, Brian Freeman. We're back in the saddle. This is good times. Andrew Moore, Next Stop Brewing Company. And what a great segue, because Jay looked back at the board. He said, Next Stop Brewing Company, you rebranded.
We did, yeah.
So, I mean, Intrepid Sojourner Beer Project, just when I started getting the hang of it, and I loved it, and it's like everything I need in a beer company, because you are the Sojourners, you are the beer project, you're making beers that are probably beers that other folks won't even attempt to do. But here it is, Next Stop. Why the rebrand?
So we wanted, especially as we moved in, we started in May distributing. So we got kegs out there, and then just in November we started getting cans out there. And we found we wanted something that was just going to, I think, penetrate the market a little bit better from a marketing perspective. So it's the same beer. It's the same people. It's the same, everything else. It's been, a little bit of a transition. People are like, it's great that Budweiser bought you. I'm like, Budweiser didn't buy me. If they had, I'd be driving a $70,000 car somewhere.
Well, but wait, I got to slow down on that, because I think what you did, and I could be way off, Andrew. And you and I are friends. We haven't even spoken about this.
Yeah.
But get this concept. Intrepid Sojourner Beer Project and all the beers you did, the name and the beers were a mouthful.
Yeah.
At every level, right?
We didn't name the beers, too, because we felt like that was just like another layer of information that would make it more difficult, right? If you got an Intrepid Sojourner and you've got some ridiculously long, complicated beer name, and then everything, it's just too much information.
Andrew, are
to
you
convey.
saying the general consumer is a pinhead and they can't take
No, I don't think
No, I'm not saying that at all. And I'm just saying, you have to consider, how the information is being conveyed. It's like, if you come into the tap room and I can have a 20-minute conversation with you about Intrepid Sojourner, right, then you leave feeling great. But if you're just looking for a beer at a liquor store or something like that, not everybody can communicate the story once you get outside of the tap room the way that you can communicate it at home.
There's a reason why they call it the 30-second elevator pitch. And the reality is if you think about this, what he's done is he's taken ISP. In my eyes, and I loved it. I loved what you guys did. I
loved it too. I fought for it for a long time, right? I mean, it was my name, and we fought for it as long as we could.
Sojourn Project.
Well, wait, hold on, because I know this background information. You actually it was going to be something even different than that.
It started out even nerdier than Intrepid Sojourn. I mean, it started out as Third Triumvirate Brewing Project, because there were three of us, and we were all classics nerds, and
Let me throw something at you. When I was a kid, my mom and dad, there was this thing called the 60s, and there was a lot of liquid and other things going around. They wanted to call me Caleb Ezekiel Shoeman Freeman. Thank God they just said Brian.
You know what they wanted my name to be? Gahan. Gahan Hollenbeck. So you can
and
use
you wouldn't
that
have gotten teased at school at all.
anytime you want to. Hey, Gahan, how you doing?
Yeah.
And so I think it's remarkable because pivoting is one of the things I always say when it comes to business. You got to learn to pivot and when and why you're doing it. So next stop to me is not too far out of your ethos of my next stop of travel.
Yeah, I mean, and we tried to convey that, I think, with the beers taking on the names of the places that kind of inspired the flavors. It's like it's the same, the only thing that changed is the top line, right? And so it's the same kind of travel-inspired, kind of spice-forward beers.
But it's just easier because now it's not Basil IPA, now it's just Bangkok.
Okay,
right.
Let's jump into that. So with your travels, it's important can you actually take a region or a city in a country or a country in general, and can you capsulize the taste of that region and put it in a beer? Or do you think you're doing a good job with that?
I mean, I think we're making good beer. I think that, I don't think we're trying to say that, this is what Rome tastes like. But it's like these are some of the flavors that I think people associate with Rome, with Italian cuisine.
Which is what?
Which is sweet Italian basil, right, in this particular beer. So there's lots of other.
Can you go down the list and say what your interpretation is for these beers that you have?
Yeah, so, basil and hops, super similar flavors. So, and again, a lot of these beers started with my experience in the Mediterranean. So, basil, very popular in lots of Mediterranean cuisine. Amsterdam, so named because Amsterdam was kind of in the middle of the spice trade for Western Europe when the Belgian wit style was being developed. So, a lot of the coriander, orange peel, chamomile was coming through Amsterdam.
Is that your most popular right now?
It depends on the time of year. It's probably actually the Bangkok when it's on. The Kolsch, fresh lemongrass and ginger. You can find a lot of curries and different cuisine from Bangkok.
That would be my go-to.
Yeah, so this one's only 4.5%, real light, easy drinking. All the flavors are. This is like fairly subtle, right? Like we're trying to make a beer, right? Not like a lemongrass flavored alcoholic. Yeah.
Well, but in your opinion, where do you think the consumer is these days? Are we at this place of big, full beers anymore? Or are we at a place of lighter? I mean, because I think we go through cycles, right? Yeah. Where do you think we are in the cycle now?
And is it seasonal? Go ahead.
Well, so there are definitely seasonal cycles, but I think there's also like bigger cycles in terms of like what, a year or two ago, everybody was talking about pastry stouts, right? These big, huge, heavy stouts with lots of sugar and vanilla and graham crackers and marshmallows and all these things in them. And now I think one of the big things is craft lager. Everyone's sort of like, we're getting back to these lower ABV, flavorful, well-made pilsners
Andrew,
and things like that.
Andrew, will you do seltzer?
We have a seltzer, yeah. We've done it. I think seltzer, it's,
Talk to me about seltzer, Andrew.
It's an interesting thing. It's been fun for us to kind of play with some of the different flavors, right? It's easy for seltzer to take these on. But I think it's mostly like it's an off-premise thing, right? It's cans. Right? People aren't really coming into a tap room for seltzer. They're taking it to parties in cans. And
Andrew, let me jump in there because what about the gluten-free person? Because we were talking about this. It's a big movement. We've got John Irving with gluten-free things. Yeah. And the reality is this is a big
that's going gluten-free.
Right now, I'm trying something just to try. And to see because there's so much information about it.
Right.
In the world of seltzer, right, that's a crossroad that potentially, because some of the seltzers are made with malt and they're not gluten-free, right? I think.
Well, so it can't be gluten-free. So everything we make is gluten-reduced. So there's an enzyme that we use that breaks down the gluten during fermentation. And so all of our beers are gluten-reduced. They're not gluten-free because there's malt involved. Our seltzer is technically not gluten-free because it's made in the same equipment that we make
It's
beer.
not dedicated.
Right, it's not. So you have to have like a separate dedicated
thing.
But you're washing it out, and I mean, for
oh yeah, I mean it's clean. It's just, I mean, at that point, it's mostly like government regulation what you can call gluten free.
We're going over, but I want to do this. Okay, so folks want to know. We're going to cut this out as a clip. Intrepid Sojourner Beer Project, you have a tap room.
We do.
There it is. Here's the question. It's right there on 8th and Santa Fe.
Yes.
It's there. People can go in there every single day, and they're enjoying.
We're not closed.
You're not closed at all. What are you going to do in 2020 with this transition with Next Stop, with your tap room with the Intrepid Sojourner Beer Project? A minute, 2 minutes, succinct, of what the plans for Next Stop is.
So right now we're focusing pretty heavily on distribution. We just launched Amsterdam this week. We just launched these cans in November, so we're going to continue pushing cans in Colorado. We're going to start pushing cans outside of Colorado, probably in the spring, March or April. And then we're going to keep operating the tap room there on 8th and Santa Fe.
Will it be Next Stop?
It will be Next Stop, yeah. So everything is officially, Next Stop. I think Next Stop at Intrepid Sojourner Beer Project is the full moniker for the tap room itself. But yeah, it's all Next Stop. We actually just got the big sign out front changed over. So,
restaurant, bar owners, are you available?
Sure. Yeah, we've talked about food. I think food is a big thing in brewing. Lots of breweries are looking at kitchens. They're looking at that kind of a thing because the competition is about experience now with the volume of breweries as opposed to good beer, because almost all of us are making fantastic beer.
How can folks get a hold of you?
So if you want to get a hold of me, you can email me, Andrew, at nextstopbrew.co, or you can find us on the website. And if you're curious about where our beer is in Colorado, you can find that on the website, too. There's a beer finder page that has a map of Colorado and everywhere our beer is available.
And fashionistas who want to get that sweatshirt,
come to the tap room.
Yeah, he's a man that loves...
Right at 8th and Santa Fe.
He's a man that loves beer and food. If you're a restaurant owner, if you're a chef and you want to get involved and do a beer dinner, this is the guy to get a hold of. Andrew Moore, Next Stop Brewing Company, formerly known as Intrepid Sojourner Beer Project. The last question that I have for you is, here we are, 2020, Next Stop Brewing Company. I know that you're going to have a lot of beers that you're hopefully putting into the market for buying as well. But what can we expect from you as far as distribution and where we can find you?
So you can find us in a lot of both on and off premise places around Colorado. We work with Colorado craft distributors, and they take us all over. So, again, if you go on our website, nextstopbrew.co, there's a page there that says Beer Finder, and that'll show you, bring up a map of an interactive map of Colorado, and you can look wherever you are and see where our beer is.
Do it. This is the guy. I mean, Andrew Moore, probably the most talented brewer that I know, and you will fall in love with him just like we have. So give him a shout. Intrepid Sojourner Beer Project, now known as Next Stop Brewing Company. And I can't wait to see your next.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for having me on the show.
Last question.
Yes.
There's one more.
All right.
Is Beercraft going to come back?
I don't know. Jeff especially is super busy. Spice Trade is opening up their new location down in the Tech Center, and we are kind of running ragged back and forth with distribution and contract brewing. So, but it's
people
definitely
love
something.
You, people miss you. But
it's definitely something we're interested in. It's a blast to talk to people and learn about the industry.
Most interesting, and we know. Intrepid Sojourner Beer Project, now Next Stop Brewing Company, and hopefully Beercraft right here on the Modern Eater Network. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
There he is, Andrew Moore. Man.